This is not a rap song, why you calling it that? This is an audio book, I'm an author on tracks. I opened so many doors, my launch pad was main source. You couldn't interpret the lesson, we took the same course. I grabbed everything and the shit that I came for. As soon as the DJ played, Big Daddy came raw. Bold, beautiful, dangerous. And I blocked out the hate that was aimed at us. I'm free as I ever been. I might hop on a jet to Japan just to eat sushi if customs let me in. WTF, SMH, I'm on Geo. 2023 just might open a casino. Community love, providing jobs. Why would you try to come for me? Why you ain't proud of Nas? Akinelli took me in the building first. Peace to MC Search, how much the catalog worth? I made it so many could have a piece of what I earned. Pushed it to the max, that was maximum returns. Bold, beautiful, dangerous. And I blocked out the hate that was aimed at us. Community love, providing jobs. Why would you try to come for me? Why you ain't proud of Nas?
Hey y'all, hey, get in here, get in here, get in here. How the heck are you today? How are you doing? Now that you have had time to sit with light years and, well, quite frankly, now that you have had the opportunity to catch up, to catch the vibe, to catch the wave, are you ready? Get ready. Tonight, gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready. Are we ready? Nas has told us to get ready, and I want to know if we are ready. I want to know if we are ready to tell the truth. Are we ready to tell the truth about this album? Are we ready to tell the truth about the culture? Are we ready? Are some of you ready to have the discussion about your projections and why you have a problem with Nas? Are you ready to talk about why you just have to find something wrong? I'm gonna assume that if you're watching this video, you saw the Joe Budden interview with Premier and Nas.
Yo, I feel like we all represent a space and time through our music that's like timeless.
What are some of the differences working with Nas today versus on that first album?
The Illmatic time, he had 20 people in the booth, but now it's just me and him.
I saw him do Mass Appeal, Code of the Streets, Return of the Boom Bap, J. Rue the Damage. So I'm like, how does he have time for me, who I'm a new guy?
Like, yo, where's your brain, man? You are crazy with the fucking pen.
Preem would come and get me from the hood, and I jump in the car.
I'm like, it's a go.
Now I can do things that I was dreaming about doing back then. Now I'm like, there's nothing we can't do. It's not even about the money. We love to do this. I'm just happy to have music flowing through my bones. It can't stop. This is really a global story that in a way goes back to the hieroglyphics. Before anyone knew who Premier was, he was somewhere in a room doing it because he loved it. Before anyone knew who I was writing. Now they get to see us in that form of that guy in the room.
What do you guys have to say to the fans out there who never thought that this day would come?
It is a pressure that's different from all the other ones.
Don't let me get into all of that.
If you were a person who was saying that you didn't like this album because of the beats, I'm gonna need you to watch that interview because they explained everything to you. So the takeaway from that Joe Budden interview should have been that Nas and Primo are light years ahead. If you don't like this album, it's because you are not vibrating at a certain frequency. It is because you're not here. It is because if you're going to be a fan of Nas, and if you are going to have the audacity to speak on Nas's art, then you're gonna have to be somebody who is not looking to criticize. So, I've had a chance to listen to the album all the way through, and Now that I've listened to it for the lyrics, now that I've listened to it for the beats, now that I've listened to it to take notes and understand what he was saying, going back now and just hitting play and letting this album play and do what it do, classic, brilliant, because it is set up, the sequence is perfect. They gave you an introduction, a warm-up, a midway, and took you into the trip. They took you on a conversation, on a ride, this was almost a TED Talk. This was almost just an OG having a conversation with his friends, with his loved ones, with his family. And it was intentionally boom bap. It was intentional because of him wanting to solidify a genre. Light years ahead. Him and his desire to help do what he could to solidify the genre of boom bap. So this album coming from Nas was paying homage and using his name and his reputation to now solidify boom bap as a category. This was him using his platform and his message to do what he has said in all of his albums and all of his messaging throughout his career. He's never been off brand. The man is still on brand. And when they asked him about the Nasty Esco Nasir, Joe asked him, if you could have named another personality, what would it have been? And he said revolutionary. And that is the mindset. This album and his intention is the mindset of a revolutionary, because he is revolutionizing a genre. And this is no different than what Beyonce is doing. How everyone is celebrating the fact that, oh, she's going to go into country, she's going to go into rock, she's going to go in and show these categories. Nas is using his power in the same way. He is using his power to solidify an entire category, an entire genre that has been left out of the picture, right? So Light Years is very befitting. It really shows where his head was at. It shows what his intention was. And it makes sense, because people who move on that level, everybody is not going to understand. So it makes perfect sense. And he was perfectly aware of what he was going to accomplish, whether you understood it or not. That's the T. For all the people who are complaining and have their criticisms about the album, his mission is being accomplished whether you like it or not, whether you talk or not, because he is now giving this light onto this particular genre. And then at the same time, he's giving his respect to Primo. Why would I not do an album like this with a man this is his very foundation? That speaks to his character. He's not trying to turn Primo into anything other than he is. And they went back and forth and shared ideas with each other. So that's all I want to say. If you are criticizing Nas, then you should check yourself, because you should look at it from a wider scope. You should look at it from a scope of him providing opportunity and him not gatekeeping. And so if we're talking about his entire catalog and his entire brand of who he has been and who he is evolving to, you should now see that he was never a rapper. That was just the tools that he used, that he was given. He took what he was given, alchemized it, and turned it into an art form, and was able to reach a group of people that otherwise may not ever have been able to be reached. And a sign of a good leader is someone who has been through the same thing that their people are going through. So for him, coming up in that way and having to be resourceful and having to dodge all the stereotypes, having to dodge all of the circumstances and all of the things that are systemically put in the way. He lived in the projects. So he was born into an environment that was set up for him to lose strategically. There are people in boardrooms that strategically created this environment, called it a project, had the audacity to call it a project because it was. The projects, if you don't know, if you're not aware, are what the elites, well, what the government at the time, because we know about the government, they wanted to see what would happen if you put a concentrated amount of people in an environment without resources, what would happen? Then, once what they knew would happen, once they created the environment, they created a space where you had a bunch of people on low income. You put them in one space with only this much, one piece of cheese to eat. And then they started killing each other and fighting each other. And then you get on the news and your statistics and say, see, all they do is kill each other. All they do is fight each other. They talk about slavery, but more of them kill each other than anybody. When truth be told is you created the project so that would happen. Okay, that's going somewhere else. But coming from that environment, taking what he was given, right? If Nas would have came straight at the gate and wrote these words in a book, would you have read it? Would you have taken him seriously? Would you have understood it? Would it have connected to the people in the projects? God is very strategic. So at this point in time, if you were still having anything negative to say about Nas, then you're kind of a cancer to the culture. You're kind of going against what the bigger picture is. So if you're not able to think bigger, then that's fine. Everybody doesn't have to get this deep into the music and to the lyrics. You can listen to it, say you don't like it to yourself, and keep it moving. But if you're going to pick up a camera and get on the internet and spread information, then you need to be sure that you are invested in the big picture and do better. Because if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody who has actually taken action, then don't say anything at all. Because what Nas is doing is bigger than a protest. It is bigger than marching. Marching is just the first step, and we have marching down. But we will support all these people who can organize a march, put our full support behind them. They can boycott Target without any real agenda further past that. Like, once you boycott, now what? You have to have somewhere to redirect that money once you boycott. You have to have something in place. So we're doing a lot of going through the motions. We are doing a lot of repeat history. We are doing a lot of the things that they already know we would do that have no results. So we're just going through the motions, and then we wonder why the culture is not moving forward, or in some instances, why it is moving back. So if you are not there, you will not get what Nas is doing, because it's on such a bigger scale. And imagine what he could accomplish if he had more support, if he had people thinking about the big picture of what he's doing. Imagine. So the next time you want to go to a march, go to a protest, the next time you want to pick up your phone and speak on anything about the government or anything about the culture, I want you to pause. I want you to pause and think, why am I doing this? How is this going to help the greater good? And before you speak on people who are actually taking action, make sure that you are doing something. So thank you so much for tuning into this video, tuning into my prior videos. I released a part 1 of kind of like a Nas documentary I was working on even before the album came on. So there's 3 parts. The first part is, if rappers were president, I would get Trump's vote, right? So we're gonna kind of give you a picture of kind of an idea of what Nas could have possibly been saying when he said, if rappers were president, I would get Trump's vote. I took that to mean, look at his actions throughout the years. If you were going to vote for a president, you would want to see what he has done. You have all these questions about what he's done, what for the community, and why he wants this seat, this position. So when he said that line, if rappers were president, I would get Trump's vote, my mind took that into, let's give an example of his work. And then part 2 is called Hero. Because leading off of, if rappers were presidents, what are we really looking for when we're electing a president? We're looking for a hero, somebody who we can put our support behind, who can go out and create changes and even Obama when he was running, but before he had a book called The Audacity of Hope. A hero is someone who can give hope. Donald Trump was elected on the hope of Make America Great Again. So I kind of gave you examples of Nas's life and how he shows up as the architect of hope. And then in part 3, it is from a song off of his Boss tapes, which is Who Are You? And so in that third video installment, I went into who Nas is in his personal life from what we have online. So it talks about, it gives you information, it gives you a little picture of his relationship with his father, with his mother, his daughter, his son, his brother, and the community. So if rappers were presidents, hero, and who are you? And I think that is going to tie in beautifully to what is happening right now in the culture, in the conversation with Nas. And you decide what it is you're looking for. When you're supporting an artist, when you're supporting a presidential candidate, a politician, a leader, what are the things that are important to you? I want you to consider those things before you critique Nas's music or question the vision. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.
Who the fuck are you? WTF, SMH. My jury is disgusting, but let's discuss the taste. I'm in another place. This whole shit is a shambles. Low vibrational levels. Riders never get canceled. Never. We manifest destiny like a knight in shining armor. Yeah, try to be there for my kids. Yeah, no matter how hard that is. Everybody so quick to flip or say they with the shits.